Well, I remember it very clearly because it was a Saturday afternoon and this little shy lad, about 7, walked in with his mum, and his mum said, "He really loves horses, but I don't know what to do with him. Where do I start?"
I was only 7 years old. At my auntie's house, she had some Shetland ponies opposite. One was called Bobby and the other one are called Chester. And ever since then, I fed them a carrot and my love for horses has just grown ever since.
We sat down and we had a chat, and I had to explain that, you know, we're not a riding school, we're breeding horses and producing them. So I said, go away, go to a local riding school, just learn the basics, learn to ride. I said, if you really love it and he's keen and he sticks at it, come back and see me. And then about 5 or 6 years later, this tall guy walked back in and went, "Hi, I've learned the basics, can I come back?"
Pat was just flabbergasted. She was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you come back." She kind of gave me the love for competing and competition within the industry, and something she always said to me was, if you want something, make sure you put in the work and devotion to it. So I was born and raised in Coventry. Coventry is bustling with different ethnicities, cultures, religions, races. I've grew up surrounded by all of these different cultures. Racism isn't something that occurs here every day, and although it occurs in society, it's not something that I thought was kind of in today's society. I was in a working pupil placement in England on a top event yard, and unfortunately I experienced racism. It was very hurtful and it was a big setback. On the way home I actually seen a horse trailer and I turned around to mum and said I never want to see a horse again. The fact that I was willing to hang up my hat and boots over the ignorance of one individual, it really empowered me. I wanted to speak out about the things that a lot of people don't want to speak out about and really try and make a difference for everyone that wants to come into the sport, because the sport is just amazing.
Reece launched the Ride Out Racism campaign to create a platform for positive change and to increase diversity and inclusion within the equestrian industry.
So the campaign was started over a year and a half ago, and in that year and a half the progression of the campaign has just been phenomenal. It's gone from my dining room to having people from Pretoria, South Africa reaching out to me, sharing their stories. Horses, they don't see colour, so if the horses don't see colour and they don't care who's on their back, what should we?
I met Reece through the Owen Equestrian Academy. He said about the Ride Out Racism and if I wanted to help support and join. Everyone can learn from different experiences and different people's experiences, and also just changing the perspective of how we all look at the equine industry.
I met Reece because I was really interested in my daughter working with him, so Reece would start mentoring my daughter.
He shows me how to tack up the horses and the process of doing that. He teaches me like the brush names and stuff like that. We're doing trotting at the moment, yeah.
I feel like my daughter feels empowered and she feels included in what Reece has created in Ride Out Racism. When I see my daughter on the horse, I'm just so proud. It makes me really happy. I know she's got so much potential, and I know that with Reece's support, she's just going to go, you know, sky high.
One thing that the campaign has enabled is the uncomfortable conversations. Diversity and equality is something that is now discussed quite openly. It's something that we're no longer afraid of, and it's something that we're happy to talk about and see how, as an industry, we can move forward.
My husband and I have this philanthropic foundation called the DHD Foundation, and obviously, you know, equestrianism is very much in my blood. We were born and raised into it. We run one of the biggest equestrian events in the world. I was shooting an episode of Daisy Dines With, which is a TV show that I do. He came along for a day's filming, and we have a segment where we then sit down and eat and the rider cooks, and he was a part of that, and then we stayed in touch and you know, opportunities arose to work together. I think what's so impressive about him is that he is such a positive guy, he's so enthusiastic, and he's interested in pushing real change, not just sort of tokenism. So I helped advise him for a bit, so now he's supported by the DHD Foundation, and last autumn we launched a campaign called I'm Part of the Change, and that is where the main focus of our work is at the moment. We are very lucky to be in the elite end of the industry, and we are very proud that it's a very open industry and that people are very inclusive and very welcoming. But at the same time, I think it's really important to listen to the people who are telling us that they haven't had those same experiences, talk to them and ask what could be changed. What Reece is doing is so important. If you are a little girl or a little boy and you're looking at your hero on telly, you know, if there is no one there who looks like you or speaks like you or has grown up from the same part of the world or has any of your shared frame of references in life, then it's really hard to see that as an achievable dream.
Horses are no judge of creed, colour, position in life. They give people a purpose, they give them an understanding. And I think it's so important that we manage at that level to get people involved in the first place. And unless there's initiatives like this, you won't have that happen.
I want to empower people to know that just because you've had a negative experience doesn't mean it's the end of the world, and it doesn't mean it's the end of your career. Stay positive, keep on track, and don't give up on your dreams.